guys, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada updates and spoilers. We have 2 house guests of the day. First up, happy 53rd birthday to Julie Stewart. Yay! And a happy birthday to Anthony Montagano. I'm sorry, but I hope you guys both had a wonderful birthday. All right, isn't that fun? 2 birthdays in one. All right, so let's talk about what's going on in the house. Yesterday, they had nominations, and as expected, Peely nominated Cindy and Godfrey for eviction. As of right now, Cindy is the target. We'll see if it stays that way. So now I want to talk about something that's not game-related, but it's just like so... I couldn't not mention it. It's an ew, please stop immediately moment. So Kevin and Peely were making out in the storage room. And Kevin was holding this like really big container of mayonnaise, and he reaches around, scoops out some mayo with his dirty fingers, and starts feeding it to Peely. And then they have it all over both of their faces, and I wanted to throw up. Moving on. Now that that's out of my system. Big Brother gave the house guests matching pajama sets. Yay! So they all got these dark plaid pants, these black t-shirts with their names on the front, and I'm assuming that you can buy these items, you know, online, because that's usually what they do, and I'm sure they're really expensive. So, let's talk strategy. Sarah and Brittany were chatting in the backyard. They were talking about the nomination ceremony, and Sarah was not happy because Peely and Bobby were both laughing at the ceremony. That's not cool. I mean, Peely's always laughing, so like, yeah, she was probably nervous too. But Bobby, are you gonna be laughing when you're up on that block? I don't think so. Chop Shop's not gonna save you. But anyway, they also talk about how they feel like the whole house is working together, minus themselves and Cindy. And that's, yeah, almost pretty much true. Willow's kind of on the outskirts too, but, you know, with that new merged Chop Shop Diaper Alliance, it's like almost the whole house. It's ridiculous. I guess Godfrey's kind of on the outskirts too. So Sarah was then talking to Willow in the have-not room. And remember last week Sarah was just like, oh, I can't stand Willow. Like, she sucks. You can't trust her. Sounds like maybe she trusts her again. Sarah tells Willow about the old Purple Cobras Alliance, also known as the Hexagon Alliance, and she was like, yeah, I never really thought it was legit. Like, I'm pretty sure the guys just made it because Brittany was the HOH that week. Makes sense. But yeah, I don't believe that she didn't think it was legit because, I feel like she was really into it for a while. I mean, looking back, of course it wasn't, but I think at the time she was really into it. So then they were talking about moving forward, and Sarah's like, you know what? We all know about the Chop Shop now, and that's obviously a huge threat. But the couples are the primary threat right now. They need to split them up. So Sarah says if she wins HOH, she's going after the couples. She would nominate Zach and Kevin. She doesn't even care at this point. How amazing would that be? All right, so last night, Bruno and Godfrey had a late night chat, and they're feeling like pretty okay this week. You know, I think Bruno is kind of like not as big of a target, obviously with Peely as HOH. I mean, maybe if Zach was HOH, but he was last week and he blew it. But yeah, I feel like Bruno's okay. And Godfrey's like, yeah, I think I'm safe too as long as Cindy doesn't win the power of veto this week. Because Cindy is the threat. I mean, everybody wants Cindy out except for like Sarah and Brittany. But even they are like, we can't save her. So they both agree, yeah, we're going to go after Zach if we win HOH next week. Which is interesting because Bruno's got this, you know, reaffirmed alliance with Zach. What's the deal? I feel like he doesn't trust Zach, but at the same time, he just made that alliance. I don't know. So Bruno also said, like, we need to solidify something with Sarah and Brittany. We need to get that unlocked, make sure it's all good. Which is another interesting thing, because that directly contradicts what Bruno talked about with Bobby. Because they decided they were going to roll with the original Chop Shop. So what's the deal there? I find it kind of interesting that Bruno's strategies are differing between Godfrey and Bobby, because I thought the three of them were supposed to be so tight, so I'm surprised that he's saying different things to both of them. It's kind of weird. I don't really know where Bruno stands right now. It's hard to get a good read on him. I don't know, maybe he's still like, we need to get out Sarah! Alright, so last night, Godfrey, Sarah, and Brittany had a quick check-in. They're all have-nots, so they had some time in the room together. Kevin's a have-not too, but he was hanging out with Peely. So Godfrey is like, yeah, I just talked to Bruno, and he admitted to the Chop Shop Alliance, but he said that it was all over after Greg was evicted. And they're all just like, that's BS. We all know that the Chop Shop was definitely still a thing after Greg was evicted. So they're like, we need to watch out for that. But Godfrey is like, yeah, but that being said, I feel like we still have Bobby and Bruno on our side. It's tough to say. I really don't know. But anyway, this morning, Cindy is like making plans for this power veto ceremony. They're all waiting around to pick players for the competition. And Cindy asked Brittany, if I get house guest choice and I pick you, can I rely on you to use the veto on me if you win? And Brittany's just like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, because she explains she was working with Sarah before Cindy came back into the house, and if Brittany uses that veto on Cindy, there's a really good chance that Sarah's going to go up on the block in her place. So she can't do that to her girl. So then Brittany pretty much says the same thing to Godfrey. She can't use it on him. And it seems like most people are feeling the same. I don't see the veto getting used this week unless one of the nominees wins or unless something insane happens. But it seems like people are not willing to put their necks out this week for either of the nominees. So this morning, Sarah was having some awful back pain. She was in tears. She couldn't sleep last night, and it was all because of yesterday's have-not competition, which Zach was freaking laughing about how funny it was that he was so rough with the girls. Really? Thanks a lot, Zach. You played too rough. Not cool. So it was time to pick the Power Veto players. The host this week is Sarah, and the players are the HOH, Pilar, the two nominees, Godfrey and Cindy, and 3 extra players, Kevin, Willow, and Bobby. All right. Lots of fun stuff going on in the house today. The house guests also got 3 new fan photos on the Big Brother Canada Basics bottles. It wasn't me, but I want to thank all of you guys who told me how to submit a photo for that. And you guys should submit your photos too. It's a lot of fun just to even put it out there, even though I feel so awkward taking selfies. But if you want to submit your photo, just tweet your photo with the hashtag BBCan model search, and I hope you guys get picked. It'd be so cool if one of us ends up getting picked. So anyway, Godfrey and Cindy, we're talking about Bobby today, and it was a really I like this discussion. I would like to see them work together. Unfortunately, I think one of them's probably going home this week. But I really like what's going on here. Godfrey's like, you need to watch out for Bobby because he's coming after you. And Cindy's like, oh, I know. So then Cindy gives Godfrey some information. She's like, yeah, so Bobby's claiming that he found this secret power of veto in the vault when we were in solitary confinement. And she's like, I think it's BS, but you never know. So you can take this information and do whatever you want with it. So Godfrey goes to Bobby and confronts him about it, and Bruno's there too. And Bruno is the only person other than Bobby, I believe, that knows that this whole story is BS, and Bobby does not have a secret power. So Bobby's like, oh yeah, man, sorry I didn't tell you. I'm not supposed to talk about what happened in the vault, which just sounded really funny. But, he's like, yeah, I just told Cindy just in case she won HOH this week. Obviously she didn't. But he apologizes for not telling the guys, and he's acting like it's a real power. He wasn't like, no, it's totally made up. He was like, yeah, I'm not really supposed to talk about it, whatever. So Godfrey, it seems like, is believing him. Later on, he asked Bruno, like, what do you think about this whole thing? Like, did you know about this? And Bruno lies. He's like, no, I didn't know about it. What? So it's pretty crazy. But Godfrey is running with this information. He brings it to Kevin. They're talking about it. And Kevin's like, yeah, what's up with that? And Godfrey's like, I don't know, man. It sounds like he might have a secret power. So he's like, yeah, I had to find out from a third party. So, I mean, that really shows how close Bobby is to me. So he's trying to downplay his alliance with Bobby and Bruno. And he's like, Kevin, we need to stick together. I don't think that's going to happen, judging by Kevin's reaction when Godfrey was campaigning to him last week. But they had the Power Veto competition today. The feeds have been off forever. It's been like 5 hours already. So if you guys want to check back later, I will post the winner at the bottom of the info for this video, if the feeds ever come back. And until tomorrow, much love.